of technology partnering in structuring AIF. So there's this huge opportunity, and similarly, we had presented some $8 billion worth of size of retail business. And a couple of gentlemen before me actually have endorsed it, so I won't endorse it again. But right. So one of the challenges that has been there even in retail industry, and I've seen the growth of retail industry from zero to being something really nice. And here is an opportunity for us, and which is what we want to partner with quite a few guys that are here saying we have the technology solution. And those days, the easiest thing most of the CIOs knew based on the education and the exposure. Today, if you talk to the same CIO, he's not going to talk about Excel file. Excel files do not help, and the kind of regulatory concerns, the compliance is to be done at each transaction level. The value of the investment changes, some of the criteria eKYC changes. Now, to do this through the entire life of your fund management becomes very difficult, and Excel is not the way to go, right? Unless you're an expert with C# and C++ programming, then it works. But here is a platform that we brought with something called as low code. It's a new theme in the IT industry, which means if you're not a software developer, you can still write your own processes just by adding characters to the field. Right click and you set it up. And that's what we've done. We built it on low code, and of course, it probably may not, it means for a person like me, probably 3 months to learn. But for people who probably are not from technology background, maybe 6 months. Now, why do we talk about low code? Because the kind of regulatory changes, they come overnight, and we saw that, and it's a platform. And yes, today the world is about platforms. It's not about software solution, because one of the key things in technology, and I work for some software companies like JDA, which is in supply chain, connecting the dots is an important theme. This transaction, how do we connect, and what is the field to connect on? That you can define using the platform that we bring. Yeah. And like it says, manage data process across business life cycle. And it's really important one, because without the data being connected, you have a half story to go back to the person who's using your service. And therefore, having the data connected, you'll be able to talk, because when the customer says, hey, you know what, I have this problem, what do I do? Right? Unlike the banks, and you say, okay, you know what, ma'am, just help me with the IFC code. And she says, which account? I've logged in already. Now, that is what the future is called CDP, which is Customer Data Portal. And it's coming. And I can see the trends based on the presentations today that CDP is coming, and it is a big thing that we all will require when we go down to service our customers, whether it's the investor or the person who's the investee and so on. Okay. Managing historical data, big problem. While storages have become much cheaper with Google and so on, but your data should be on your server so that you have the control over your data. And trust me, it will become money. While I know 10 years ago, 5 years ago, Narendra Modi said, data is the new oil. It is. I've seen that happening in retail industry, and I can see that happening with this industry. And I'm just basing my observations based on all the presentations I've been listening to since morning. Yeah. And I think role of technology, a lot of other earlier, so I won't repeat it, but yes, the complete investor pipeline, investor onboarding, and this term onboarding has come out at least 50 times since morning. It is a problem. And after joining this company, I was thrown into a large investment firm called Ask. And the first thing when I entered the office, the guy, the local CIO there, he's like, Abel, we have a problem with onboarding. You solve that and everything is solved. I said, if I solve, I get out? So he's like, yes. I said, then I will not solve. Because that means I can sit here and make money. So he's like, Abel, get this done. And then during the conversation, we realized, actually, he worked with me in 1998. It's a serious problem, and yes, don't discount it. It is definitely important as a digital onboarding platform, okay? And this is the steps to maturity, which is technology. And being a technology guy, I can say that it's definitely important. Initially, set up your processes the Amazon way. Why the Amazon way? Every process of Amazon, and being in retail side, I've studied how they do everything. They have either spent money or made money. Like when you give your address, they say, I'll give you delivery free. It's not free. They've taken the data from you and they've already started mapping how the geography is functioning. Like typically, when I go to Amazon, when I'm in Bombay, I will see only movie DVDs and so on. But the moment I switch it from Bangalore, I will see utensils, household vessels. Why? Because my mom started shopping when she moved to Bangalore. And I was shopping when I was in Bombay, right? So that's the power of data. And I think the data maturity is there. So I would here bring one important point for your attention. Please document your processes with customer centricity and think in both the ways. What if this guy comes here and asks this question? Like I'm sure all of you all have heard about that classic Indigo bot issue, the chatbot issue, where the customer gave negative sentiment, but the bot translates saying, oh, thank you, you were late, or the flight was late. Which means all the automation you take up, you have to train. It takes you 3 years. Don't reduce. So, which means if you say, I will start technology, kal lete hain. Pehla customer ko dekhte hain. No, start paying attention to technology so that you can train the computer, the bot guy. Otherwise, your automation is a failure from day one. And I have seen enough bots where you ask some simple question and the guy says no. So my wife got charged, we should have a smart TV. I said, yes, we should. So we went to this LG shop and I said, what do you mean by smart? Sir, ये sir बताएगा. आप खाली पूछो. ये Alexa है ना, बड़ी smart है. She will tell you. I said, what? Like, I said, okay, I want to search for a particular movie. Failed. So I lost it. I said, यार फिर 1 लाख किस बात का, 1.5 लाख किस बात का? So he's like, sorry, I'm jumping into Hindi because I'm from Bombay. And I understood that if you have to do certain things, set your processes correctly. Now, I'm a technology guy. What has got to do with processes? Last month I was in Africa consulting a retail firm. They are one of the largest group spread across Africa and Middle East and the whole UAE. And we realized the power of process is so much that we were able to bring 5% savings just spending 3 months there by just doing process optimization and everything around customer. No process developed without the customer in mind. Like Amazon says, they have an empty seat in their boardroom, which is representing the customer. Philosophical, but I think it's a very important value add that you should focus. And we can help you there because we have guys who are experienced, not just technology, but also process. Now, let me give an example. So when you say, what will a process consultant do? Well, they know the pitfalls. They know what will fail. They know what will not work for you. They go by the knowledge I bring, data monetization, data, how can data be the oil? And that's the technology expertise that I bring, right? The other piece, which is driving better results every day. And the blue color, the light blue color, as you see the highlights, what are they? They are the business proposition. They are the value proposition of technology. And if the answer is no, you don't need technology. I'll be honest. If you can't drive better results every day, like in retail, we say better customer engagement, better merchandising, better customer experience, and so on. And this Crossroads Mall was built when I was involved, and I was the founding member of the initial team in 1998. And I heard Piramal's name today in the morning, and it was nice to hear that, right? So Mrs. Urui Piramal created that retail, and that time I was like a bacha and half the size, right? And she gave me the responsibility of looking after IT. So every day it has to be better, right? Connecting data across multiple transactions. And I can see, means based on the exposure at Ask, I saw 1 million transactions happening. Awesome. That is what you should have goal, that we need to handle at least 100 people or 100 transactions per second, right? Then driving business growth, better and informed decision making. And you'll struggle, trust me on this. This becomes a problem from an IT. If your technology does not let you take better decisions, don't do it. Then comes back the Excel. And I will really strongly say, based, and trust me for this, and I'm ready to bet my job on this. Not because, 50 years, ego hai. Genuinely, I feel. Excel will kill you. So, someday you'll raise. And the same guy who said, Excel, he'll say, sir, Excel nahi kar sakte. You need databases. Why is it that we have Excel and then we have databases in the technology world? Oracle, SQL, And look at Microsoft, way off. And today Microsoft and others have realized we cannot charge that crores worth of license upfront because nobody can afford. So now pay as you grow, right? So this is the life cycle where we actually have raised different means when you're engaged with raising the money and then applying the money to originate and so on. The invest fact is still under development because we are now baking in the AI and machine language. So that's something which is baking in, and hopefully we'll get that done by the end of this year. So we have various modules covering the entire life cycle, like we saw here. And the gray color horizontals tell you what is that life cycle looks like. And our anticipation or the prediction is that by the 7th year, while managing your fund, you will need those kind of things. And the system allows to capture collaterals, all the KYC documents and so on, which probably is part of your portfolio to give it back to your customers or take it from the customers. And that's the complete value proposition, starting from all the way offers, making leads. And managing leads is a big thing. While there is a word CRM, which everybody uses, but it's the most abused word, CRM. Because people don't know how to use it. They just say, oh, do you have CRM? Yeah, we have. What do you do with it? Not much. There's no merit in that, okay? But this is where we come and we help you understand what it means to manage lead. And that's where the first step of maturity, set up your processes, right? From leads management, who will pick the call? And will that person be giving the right answer? If not, we have a problem. And that's the company which has been growing, and we right now, not big headcount, but yes, 350 plus. And when I say 350 plus, they're covering technology and domain side both. And we have experts all over Bangalore, Pune, and recently we've also set up in Australia, and it's growing well because we're seeing good traction on the digital transformation, which is what is our digital onboarding and so on. These are some of our clients, and the first one reflects what's that particular vertical. So that's the banking industry, and then we have different geographies and so on. Alchem is a different profile altogether, while they are into pharmaceuticals, but we are helping them with certain AI-based, ML-based learnings, and how do we bake it into a leads transaction.